extent of Egodi's betrayal. I trusted Egodi, but it seems I was wrong, the queen said sadly. Thank you, Adanne and Ebube, for bringing this to my attention. I will deal with Egodi accordingly. True to her word, the queen summoned Egodi and confronted her with the evidence. Unable to deny her guilt, Egodi confessed to her wrongdoing and was dismissed from her position in the palace. With Egodi gone, peace was restored to the palace, and Adanne could continue her work without fear of sabotage. She was grateful for Ebube's loyalty and friendship, knowing she could always count on her in times of trouble. As they returned to their duties, Adanne couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. She had overcome adversity and emerged stronger than ever, proving that kindness and honesty always triumph in the end. And with Ebube by her side, she knew she could face whatever challenges lay ahead. Adanne and Ebube continued their hard work in the palace, striving to fulfill their duties with diligence and dedication. They swept floors, polished silverware, and attended to the needs of the royal family with care. One day, Queen Onugo announced that she would be traveling out of the country, leaving her most cherished valuables in Adanne's care. The queen entrusted Adanne with this important task, knowing she could rely on her to keep everything safe. Adanne promised to look after the queen's belongings with utmost care as the maids bid her farewell. However, that night, when Adanne went to deliver tea to the king's chamber, a terrible thing happened. The king, taking advantage of Adanne's innocence, forced her into a terrible secret. He made her swear never to tell anyone about what had happened. Adanne was devastated and felt trapped, unable to speak out against the powerful king. As days passed, Ebube noticed a change in her friend. Adanne was no longer as lively and cheerful as she used to be. Concerned, Ebube confronted her, asking if everything was alright. Adanne, unable to confide in her friend, simply nodded and assured her that everything was fine. But Ebube knew better. She could see the pain and sadness in Adanne's eyes, and she vowed to find out what was troubling her friend. Meanwhile, Queen Onugo returned from her journey and immediately noticed the change in Adanne's demeanor. Worried about her beloved maid, the queen summoned Adanne to her chambers and gently urged her to share her troubles. Adanne, unable to bear the weight of her secret any longer, broke down in tears. She didn't go into details, only mentioning the memory of her deceased parents as the cause of her sadness. The queen, moved by Adanne's tears, wrapped her in a comforting embrace and assured her that she would always be there for her. She showered Adanne with gifts she had brought from her journey, hoping to lift her spirits. Adanne accepted the queen's gifts gratefully, but her heart was heavy with guilt and fear. She knew she couldn't keep the king's secret forever, but she was terrified of the consequences of speaking out. As Adanne left the queen's chambers, the queen watched her go with a mixture of concern and suspicion. She knew there was more to Adanne's sadness than she was letting on, and she resolved to uncover the truth. Adanne continued to carry out her duties in the palace, but her nerves were always on edge whenever she encountered the king or queen. The weight of her secret weighed heavily on her, and she lived in constant fear of being discovered. One day, Osinachi, immediately.